I don't know a single person, except maybe at the White House, that thinks that we are headed in the right direction or have been headed in the right direction in the last 40 or 50 years. And it's not a Republican-Democrat thing. It is, it comes from this. We all say, all of us, we elect a different party and they keep going the same direction. Nothing ever changes. What is pulling us in this direction? Why? We all know that things aren't right. Why do we keep going in this direction? Is there something that we're missing? And is there an easy answer that might require some work, but the solution is pretty easy? Is that possible? I have a very good friend that, in fact, I have several really good friends that have helped me understand the world in a different way. And unfortunately, we don't have enough of these really good friends in places and positions of education. And one of the goals that we have here at this network is to educate. And the world is, our kids are getting an education whether you like it or not. They're getting an education right now about collectivism. The president is always talking about collectivism.
And recognizing that my fate remained tied up with their fates, that my individual salvation is not going to come about without a collective salvation for the country. Unfortunately, I think that recognition requires that we make sacrifices, and this country has not always been willing to make the sacrifices that are necessary to bring about a new day and a new age.
Because our individual salvation always depends on collective salvation. Because it's only when you hitch your wagon to something larger than yourself that you realize your true potential. Our individual salvation depends on collective salvation. Because thinking only about yourself, fulfilling your immediate wants and needs, betrays a poverty of ambition.
Then we told you that Melissa Harris Perry, she's a professor at Tulane, and she's also a host on MSNBC. She's talked about the collective as well.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have, because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families, and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
This is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. That is actually, that's a promo for the network MSNBC. And this is such a lie on the surface. We have always been, we're the first to go in and pitch in when somebody's in trouble. When a community is down, when there is a country that has been demolished by some great natural disaster, Americans have always been there as a collective to help people. We do look at problems as a collective. Might take us a little while, did in World War II, but we finally went, you know what, this does affect me, this is important, we should stand. So that premise that she's talking about is a lie. Unless she's talking about something entirely different. A different kind of collective understanding, a different kind of understanding of that private notion being destroyed.